Have you ever just stopped and thought, am I the customer here or am I the product? You know, that feeling that your data, your attention, it's all just being bought and sold? Well, today we're going to dig into a totally different vision for our digital world, one that wants to put the power right back where it belongs, with us. So let's dive in to the ATRIUM vision.
We've all been there, right? You're scrolling through a free social platform and you get that little nagging feeling that maybe you're the thing being sold. This is the exact issue that ATRIUM is trying to solve, what they call the big social problem. And it really boils down to that one simple question. Are you the customer or are you the product?
And this right here, this really lays it all out, showing two completely different ways to think about the internet. Over on the left, you've got the big social model we all know, centralized, controlled by a handful of companies, where you are the product. But on the right, you have the ATRIUM vision, owned by the community, decentralized, where you are the owner. It's not just a tweak, it's a total flip of the power dynamic.
Yeah, and this quote from the source material just nails it. For too long, social media has been synonymous with centralized control, where the user is the product and the community is a data point. That's the business model that's pretty much defined the internet for the last decade or more. But what if there's another way?
So, what's the solution? Well, it's one simple but incredibly powerful idea: ownership. We're talking about a fundamental shift from being just a passive user renting space on someone else's platform to being an active owner of your own digital corner.
Okay, so what does ownership actually mean here? It's way more than just data privacy, you know? It's the real ability to build and shape your own online environment, to set your own rules of the road, and to create a space that genuinely reflects what your community is all about. But here's the absolute game changer. This isn't just for tech gurus and coders. The whole point is to make creating your own social network as simple and straightforward as starting a blog or, heck, even sending an email. If you really want to democratize the internet, you got to make the tools easy for everyone to use. And look, this isn't some far-off futuristic dream. It's actually happening right now. Let's take a look at how this idea is already being put into action and the real impact it's having on actual communities.
That's not a typo. Hundreds of community-owned social networks have already been built using this model. This is not a theory anymore. It's a real growing movement that is literally changing the internet from the ground up.
And what's so cool about this is how flexible it is. We're seeing these digital homes pop up for, well, just about everyone, from individual artists and their fans to super niche hobby groups to entire cities and even innovative companies. It just goes to show what happens when you let communities design for themselves.
This is where it gets really inspiring. As the source puts it, seeing a community leader take the reins of their own data has been incredibly rewarding. This whole thing isn't just about code and servers, it's about empowering real people to build the communities they've always wanted on their own terms.
And you know what? The results are speaking for themselves. When people feel a true sense of ownership, they treat their digital spaces with more respect, they engage way more deeply, and they actually take on a shared responsibility for keeping the community healthy. It's amazing proof that if you set up the right incentives, you really can bring out the best in people.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Building a whole new internet is not easy. There are some major challenges to tackle, and being honest about them is the only way we're going to solve them.
The road to a better internet is definitely not going to be a perfectly paved highway. As the source material points out, there are going to be some bumps along the way. But these challenges aren't just roadblocks. They are chances to learn, to grow, and to innovate.
So what are these big hurdles? Well, first off, we have to get people to change how they think, to move away from that free but you're the product model. Second, there's the tech side of things, building decentralized systems that are run by users, not a company, and making them strong and easy to use. Third, we need brand new ways to handle moderation that give power to communities but also keep people safe. And finally, the whole experience has to be just as smooth and easy as the big platforms we're all used to. That's a tall order.
But here's where we need to shift our thinking. These aren't deal breakers. The source calls them the necessary friction of innovation. It's a great phrase, right? Every single challenge we figure out just makes the whole ecosystem stronger, more resilient, and ultimately better for everyone. So after all that, what's the end game? If we can navigate all these challenges, what does the future of the internet actually look like? What are we building towards?
The answer is just this beautiful, powerful metaphor. The internet of tomorrow isn't one giant town square. It is a vibrant galaxy of interconnected, user-owned networks. Just picture that for a second.
A whole universe of unique, self-governing communities, all connected, all thriving together. That's the future we're talking about.
And that really brings us to the final question, a question for you. If you had the tools to build your very own corner of the internet, what would you create? What kind of community would you want to build? The future isn't set in stone, and it's really up to all of us to decide what it's going to be.